Hello and welcome to today's webinar. We are going to be discussing Microsoft OneDrive for Business today and what that is and why you should need it. My name is Martin. I am the Technical Support Manager here at SMS. So let's begin. So I'm just going to go about the company, about SMS, who we are. So we are a Microsoft Gold partner specialising in providing managed services for mid-market clients and SME. We've been established well over 15 years and have a portfolio of over 4,500 clients, and this is continuing to grow. We are very proud to hold ISO 9001 and 27701 certification. We provide 24/7 support for all our services and all our clients. All our staff are UK based. We are ideally placed to offer the IT advice your business needs to be successful, and we are here to help you get the most out of the services that you have with us, such as Azure, Microsoft 365 and Modern Workplace. So what is OneDrive for Business? Some people may have heard of it, some people may not have heard of it. Some people may have just heard of OneDrive. So OneDrive for Business is Microsoft's cloud service that will connect you to all your files and data. It lets you store and protect files, share files with other users, and get the most out of them from any device. Now, this can be whether this is online or via a mobile app, via the desktop clients. It's basically accessible as long as you've got a physical internet connection, or if you use the desktop client, there is an offline mode that you can download the files offline should you have no internet connection. Make changes to them files. Once your internet connection is back, it will then repopulate the files and store them back online. So it keeps everything in continuous sync, basically. So OneDrive versus OneDrive for Business, you might ask, well, is there a difference? Well, yes, there is a difference. So basically, OneDrive on its own is the personal version of OneDrive, which is a cloud storage service, which you can still store your files securely and you can share them, and you can access them on any device in the same way. But it doesn't give you the business functionality, whereas the business version does. So so OneDrive for Business is part of the Microsoft 365 service, but it's designed for organizations to give your employees a personal storage area, which can be centrally located and managed. It can also be useful, especially if you're using things such as compliance and regulatory requirements. You can easily manage it because it's all part of the 365 system, and it fully integrates with your mailbox and other 365 services that you have. So that's basically the differences between them both. So these are some of the features of OneDrive for Business. Now there's many other features to OneDrive for Business, but these are the ones that we're going to be discussing today. So we're going to be discussing sharing, files on demand, what that is, modern attachments, a bit about file restore, audited reporting, encryption, which is obviously for security, that's definitely a requirement these days, and data retention and compliance. So sharing files and folders, that's basically what it says it is. That allows you to share your files and folders with internal people, external people, or both. It gives you quite a lot of functionality, whether you want to edit files or not, and set expirations, things like that on it. So basically, as you can see on screen, there's a diagram now of what the sharing options look like. Now, this particular one is from the online version. You can do the same in the mobile apps, and you can also do the same via Windows and Mac. There is the options to do that in the context menu, which we'll be discussing shortly. So these are the four options that you've been presented with when you right click on the file and go to share. So you've got anyone, that means anyone can access the file. So anyone that's got the link, because it will generate a link for you to access that particular file. So this could be anything from brochures that you might want to give to customers, then people in your organization. So this would say people in your name with your company. This is basically where you get a link that anyone inside the company with the same company name, so generally it's the same domain name, but if you have multiple domains, it'll be whichever domain, but anyone inside the same company can access that file. So it effectively means that they'll get a link, and anyone that's working for your company can access that file. Now, the other option is people with existing access. Now, that is basically if you grant permission to a file or a document that you've done previously, and the person, say, loses the link, for example, this will allow them to still gain access to that file because there's no expirations being set on it, so it's still valid. So it'll allow them to still access that document or folder because they've got existing access to that file, and that's basically what the existing access means. As long as effectively you can go back into it, get the link for them again, and they'll be able to re-access the document without even applying any more permissions because they're already set. Now, specific people, most people may want to use if they need to share that file or document with somebody inside the company and outside, or just outside. So what that allows you to do is you can specify external companies or external people as an email address, and it will allow you to then email them a link to access that document. Now this makes it useful if you've got a file that your supplier needs access to work on with you as well. So that gives you the ability to do that, and that's basically what the specific people is for. And as you can see on C, if people forward the sharing invitation, only people who already have access will be able to access the link. So if you forward that to your colleague, that say you forward it to a supplier, and their colleague wants to see it as well, if you share that link with them, it won't work. It will only work for that specific person. And now other options on the sharing option is allow editing. So if you want that file to be edited, you check that box. If you want it to be read only, you deselect it. Expiration date is useful if you've got a time on a specific file that you need changing. After a specific time, you want that link to be expired so no one else can access it. That's what that does. The password option is useful if you want to just make sure that file is password protected, because sometimes inside organizations, even though they can log in and want to see it, they just want added security by putting a password on the document. And the block download prevents them downloading anything. They can't download the file, they can only view it online. Well, Files on Demand is basically, it enables users to view and search and interact with files easily that are stored in OneDrive from File Explorer, or if you're on a Mac, on Finder, without the need of downloading them. So when you right click on the file, as you can see on the diagram, you'll get a context menu that appears, and you'll see the options for share, view online, always keep this on this device, and then there's free up space. That is the OneDrive section of that. You can interact with that file straight from the Explorer window, which makes it incredibly useful if you want to just view a file straight away. You don't have to log into a browser and basically to access it. So it also gives you the same kind of look that you would get from the online version as well. But you'll notice there's a status column and there's a cloud. That cloud means that file is only online. Now, if you click on that, you can actually download that file, so you've got a local copy on your machine, so it's offline. So in the event that you have no internet connection, you can still access that data as long as there's a green tick next to it. That file is offline. Should you need to free up space, you can right click on it, free up space, and that will then just put it back online. Well, it's always online, but it'll remove it from your local machine and just keep the online version. And obviously you can see the share option. You can share, as previously mentioned, you can actually share from here as well. So that's basically what Files on Demand is. It's very, very usable. I use it myself, works without any issues whatsoever. So modern attachments. What are modern attachments? Well, modern attachments is a way that OneDrive will integrate with Outlook to allow a seamless sharing of a OneDrive file, and it will just appear like a normal attachment would. So basically, when you go into a new email and you want to attach a document, you get an option that says usually from your local machine. You will actually get an option for OneDrive. You can click on that. It will open up your Explorer window, and you can then select the file that you want to attach that document straight from OneDrive, even if it's not even stored on your local machine, if it's just in the cloud. It also gives you some other functionality as well, as you can see on screen. You can change the permission of that document, who can edit, who can view it, etc. So if you only want, say for example, say you want organizations to be able to edit it, you can go to change permission and select organizations can edit, and they can edit that file. The benefit and the pure user experience of doing this, it basically means that you can collaborate on documents, and any changes that they make on that file that you send to that person, when they send it back to you, it will copy back up to your OneDrive, so it's effectively in sync. So any changes made to it will be saved. So it's not like the old days where you basically, you sent them a document, you worked on it, and then when you got it back, you had to then put it back somewhere to save it. Now it's seamless; it'll just update it as and when they make changes to it. So it's very, very useful. Obviously, they have to have edit permissions to do that, but that's effectively what it does. It's a very, very good facility, and it's just native within OneDrive. So obviously, file restore is a key thing as well, because should you delete anything, can you get it back? Now, OneDrive does have a file restore feature, which will allow users to restore any file at any point over the past 30 days. They can select. If they go into the actual restore feature, you can see on screen there's actually like a histogram that will actually show you the actual what restore area that there is. So you can actually select when that basically was that you want to restore back that will meet your needs basically, and from there the users can then select the file. From this file history, they can select the file and they can restore it, and at that point the changes will just be rolled back. So it is a useful feature. You can, like you say, you can see there, you can select the date, you can use custom. It's fully customizable. You just you select where you want to restore. It will show you what it is to restore. Click restore, and that will just roll that back like it never been deleted basically. So auditing and reporting is a good thing for administrators, compliance managers, anyone that's dealing with wanting to know what's going on, basically, specifically administrators or managers even for that matter. So it does have detailed reporting and auditing capabilities built in for files that it stores, as well as those files it stores across other 365 services that use OneDrive, specifically SharePoint, because SharePoint actually sits on top of OneDrive for Business. So you can actually get a full auditing view of what documents you're working for if they were stored within SharePoint as well, from the actual usage reporting window as well. And also, in addition, you can audit individual files and actions, which include downloads and renames and views. So it is completely it's fully open to view what files that you want to audit or do a report on. You can actually see what's going on. You can see who the owners of the files were, when there was the last activity on them. It's very, very useful if you need to do an investigation on specific documents for whatever reason that you may need to do that. So encryption of data is very important, especially these days. Security of especially of company data that could lead to, if it got in the wrong hands, could lead to criminal involvement or a major compliance and security breach. So OneDrive gets around this by it uses what's known as advanced data encryption methods. So basically, between your device and the Microsoft data center, it will basically fully encrypt it, and then between the data between the servers in the data center and at rest. So all that basically means is OneDrive will use a disk encryption through a service called BitLocker Drive Encryption, which some of you may have heard of because that's what's in Windows. You can actually turn that on in Windows, and the file encryption will then secure the data. So basically, when you upload it to OneDrive, it's encrypted, and when you effectively when the changes come back down again, it's the same, it's encrypted. So your data is as secure as it possibly can be, and that is a key thing for the majority of companies, if not all companies, that data that's stored in there is encrypted and safe and as secure as it possibly can be. Microsoft take this very seriously with their data security. It's a very, very serious matter. So they get this by using this advanced encryption method, using the BitLocker Drive encryption. This gets around this, and it makes sure that the files are safe for your business, basically. So data retention compliance, we briefly talked about obviously the reporting and stuff earlier. Data retention compliance is determine what needs to happen to a file should it be deleted as is. If a user leaves the business and that user's deleted, all their data gets deleted. Now, on a mailbox, that's held for 30 days, as is OneDrive, and it can be restored back within a 30-day period unless it's actually hard deleted. Now, for some organizations retaining deleted user data, this could be very important for continuity and preventing critical data loss. If you have an employee that's left and that's deleted and there's something that happens in the future, such as legal reasons or something needs to be investigated, you can set the retention policy of how long the data is kept for between 0 days and 3,650, which is 10 years. So we would recommend that if you have obviously in your organization, you would have a retention period of what you deem as fit for your organization. Your own organization will know how long you want to keep that for. You might want to keep it 6 years, you might want to keep it 5 years, depending on how long you want to keep it for. In the event, should you need to do a compliance investigation for, like say, for legal reasons, it could be for medical reasons, it could be for a number of reasons, but mainly for compliance, it's just to ensure that you can get that data back and do an investigation should you need to do that. So we've discussed quite a lot today, but one question might be that is why would you deploy OneDrive for Business? So we're just going to really summarize what we discussed really. So the reasons that you deploy it would be that you can access your files from any device, whether that's desktop, Mac, PC, iPhone, Android, and the web. You can share your file inside and outside your organization or to both, which makes it ideal for sharing that Word document or that Excel spreadsheet. And you can also collaborate with Microsoft Office integration. What that basically means is you can work on a document in real time inside OneDrive through the browser or through the desktop clients, and any changes that you make on that will obviously be uploaded. What the benefit of it is, because you can collaborate with it, it means if someone has sharing rights to that file, you can be working on that document at the same time, and it will update in real time. So if you're working on a spreadsheet, for example, if someone's in cell C1, it will actually have their name. It'll actually be hovered over it. It'll show the person that's making changes to that cell. So it makes it really, really useful for people that want to just say, for example, that you only wanted to use the online version, for example. It makes it ideal for that because you can see who's working on what. Like I say, it works with the desktop clients as well. The find features inside OneDrive for Business makes it easy to find files and documents that you need that matter the most. As a complete search, an advanced search feature within inside the browser. You can also use Windows Search or Finder Search if you're on Mac to find what you're looking for. And the last thing is the most important thing. Your files are protected with encryption and enterprise grade security, so you know that your files are as safe as they physically can be, and that is a #1 priority in today's world. So just before we wrap up today, if you want to take out this service, now it does come with a lot of the 365 packages anyway. You can get it standalone, but obviously recommend if you're going to be wanting fully integration with Office, etc., you take out a proper a mailbox plan that comes with everything included, like SharePoint, Teams, etc. Do give our helpful sales team a call on 01925 818 448, and they'll be able to explain more details should you need them about the product and how to purchase it. If you've got any queries about it or anything like that, they'll be able to sort that out for you. If you do have any technical questions about this webinar or OneDrive or 365 in general, or even migrations, then please call our helpful support team on 01925 818 252. You can get us on simplymailsolutions.com. Our help and support site is smshelp.co.uk. That's full of documentation, setup guides, further support information that you need to get everything up and running. If you do struggle and you're having problems, then please do call support. And if you feel that there's something that's missing off that support site, please do let us know. We can add to the list for a future update to get that added for you. And finally, all our webinars that we've been doing since 2020 and our YouTube channel can be found at simplymailsolutions.com/webinars. I would like to thank everyone for watching today. My name's been Martin. I hope everyone's found it informative. Please do contact us should you need any more information regarding OneDrive or Office 365, stroke Microsoft 365, and we'll be happy to help.